Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here, once again bringing you another week in Trek. This week we have some news about the upcoming Starfleet Academy series, some comments from Discovery showrunner Michelle Paradise about that show's final season, and some new merch news for all the Star Trek collectors out there.
You're the captain of the most important space station in the entire Federation. You're news.
We have a few new details about the next live-action Star Trek series. Starfleet Academy was announced in early 2023, touted as a young adult-focused series under co-showrunners Alex Kurtzman and Nogel Landau. Thanks to comments from Alex Kurtzman at the recent Star Trek Discovery premiere at South by Southwest, we now know that Season 1 of Starfleet Academy will have 10 episodes, pretty much standard for Star Trek series these days. It also appears that we may not see the new series until 2026. Kurtzman outlined the timeline for when we might see the series. It could end up not airing until 2026. We don't know. But by starting shooting in late summer, just building the sets alone is a massive endeavor. Then 6 months of shooting, then 6 to 8 months of post. If you recall, there was all this noise around Season 1 and Season 2 of Discovery, because the streaming service, they were like, oh, it's like a turnaround on a cop show. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's 8 months of visual effects turnaround and we're not going to rush that. So it'll come out, but it'll come out when it's done. I definitely have to say I like that commitment to making sure it's done right rather than rushing it at the behest of the studio, so that does fill me with a bit of confidence for sure. Kurtzman also spoke about the tone of the show and how it might differ from other Star Trek shows we're used to. There's a lot of different kids from a lot of different places. Some of them want to be there, some of them don't want to be there. It's gonna be a fundamental reinforcement of all the things we love about Starfleet in general. We still don't know any specifics about characters or even official confirmation that it takes place in the 32nd century, although that does seem to be the consensus around the rumor mills and fan speculation. Once we know more details about this new series, as well as exactly when we might see the first season, we'll be sure to bring you the details here on Kertrats Productions. This past week saw the first showing of the premiere episode of Season 5 of Star Trek Discovery at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. On hand were cast and showrunners who took part in a discussion panel following the screening. Series showrunner Michelle Paradise spoke a bit about the cancellation of Discovery, how it impacted the final season, and the experience of filming the extra bit to wrap up the series. We didn't know Season 5 would be the end. We finished shooting in November of 2022 and then found out around the new year, and we can't say enough of our gratitude to CBS Studios and Paramount Plus for giving us the opportunity to go back and shoot some additional days, because we felt like we really then got to wrap up the series. Season 5 will feel like a satisfying journey. Then we were able to kind of do a little bit extra to wrap up the show as a whole, and we're so grateful for that. So when we got to go back and shoot that material, we knew going in that those few days were going to be the last days. And it was kind of cool because we got to go in knowing that and really just appreciate being there, appreciate being with one another. We got to say goodbye on the sets, which was just a really special and bittersweet thing. So it was wonderful to get to do that. Wilson Cruz, Discovery's Dr. Hugh Culber, also made some remarks, including the surprising news that he wasn't a part of the additional footage filmed for the end of the season. This event has been really cathartic for me because I didn't get to participate in the additional filming. I had already taken a job. So when they went back to film the end of the series, I couldn't join the group. I was in Thailand. Sinequa was kind enough to call me from the party afterwards, and she ruined my makeup, and I had to go back and get it redone. So this has been my opportunity to see each other again. I, for one, am sad that Cruz wasn't able to be a part of the end of the series, and in general, I'm a little bit worried about how the series was wrapped up. The fact that they didn't know it would be the end while filming is, of course, unfortunate, and I'm really curious to see how well things will in fact be concluded. For example, we have the whole situation from the Short Treks episode Calypso, which gave us a possible glimpse of Discovery's future. Will that be addressed? We'll have to wait to find that out, along with all the other various ways they could end the entire series. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see how this final season goes, and I have to admit a little bit of trepidation going in. The final season of Discovery begins airing on Paramount Plus on April 4th with 2 episodes, and we are very much looking forward to experiencing the final season with all of you then. Some interesting new merchandise has been announced. First up is the latest addition to Exo 6's line of 1/6 scale Star Trek figures. Dr. Julian Bashir from Star Trek Deep Space Nine has joined the rest of the line, with pre-orders up on Exo6's website for $195 until April 2nd. I've been collecting a few of these figures, limiting my purchases to just the Discovery figures and the Deep Space Nine figures. So far, from the DS9 line, I have Sisko, Quark, and Kira, and of course I've now added the Bashir pre-order. I really look forward to expanding my collection. Also announced is the addition of Star Trek to UVS Games' Universus collectible card game. The first release in the line is set to be Star Trek Lower Decks Challenger Series. According to the article on TrekMovie.com, there will be 4 Challenger series, each containing unique character cards, including Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford. No set date yet, but it is set to be released later this year. UVS is also reportedly partnering with Wise Wizards Games to bring Star Trek into their deck-building game. Titled Star Trek Realms, this 2 to 4 player game will feature starships from Star Trek The Next Generation, and it will also be compatible with their other Star Realms games. It is set to be released in the 3rd quarter of 2024. I, for one, really love Star Trek trading cards. I've never really gotten into the customizable card games. I did collect some of the old school Decipher card games back in the 90s, but it's been a long time since I've played those. Might be interesting to get my hands on these and see what they're like. But how about all of you? Do you play Star Trek customizable card games? Let me know in the comments. Is this something I should be looking into? I don't know. Let me know.
Sometimes I think you North Americans read nothing but comic books and those ridiculous science fiction novels.
We have one new comic releasing this week, Star Trek number 18, continuing the adventures of Benjamin Sisko and his crew aboard the USS Theseus. This issue is the 6th and final part in the Glass and Bone arc. Here's the synopsis. Zenketh is on the brink of war against the Federation, and it's all the fault of Captain Sisko and his crew. A battle between the Zenkethi, Romulans, and Cardassians is imminent, while Zenketh itself begins to tremble. The Theseus crew's actions have exacerbated the volcanic instability of the planet, another thing the Romulans will undoubtedly pin on the Federation. The Romulan Magistrex's plot to build an alliance that will destroy the Federation is underway. Can Sisko and his crew manage to save this savage world of glass and bone? Find out in the finale of Arc 3 of the Eisner-nominated series. Star Trek number 18 is written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with art by Marcus Toe. It hits newsstands on Wednesday, March 20th.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Message, Spock?
None that I'm conscious of. Except, of course, happy birthday. Surely the best of times.
A new section I'm starting in this episode of This Week in Trek is Trek Birthdays, actors and creators of various Trek shows and films who are celebrating birthdays this week. First up on Monday, March 18th, J.G. Hertzler, best known to Trek fans as General Martok on Deep Space Nine, turns 74. On Tuesday, March 19th, Connor Trinneer, Enterprise's chief engineer Trip Tucker, turns 55. Thursday, March 21st, sees the birthday of Star Trek Discovery's Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green. She turns 39. On Friday, March 22nd, a momentous day in Trek fandom, the original Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, celebrates his 93rd birthday. And on Sunday, March 24th, Star Trek Discovery's Jet Reno, Tig Notaro, turns 53. Happy birthday to all who celebrate this week. And that wraps things up for another week in Trek. Thanks as always to the Patreon supporters, and thanks to everyone for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications if you want to keep up to date on new videos dropping. Thanks again, see you next time, and live long and prosper.